Hey guys, it's Amanda with Offbeat Paranormal, Offbeat by Design. We are in the middle, are we still in West Virginia?
No.
So we're in the middle, oh I knew that. We're in the middle of West Virginia. We just got done at Point Pleasant and we are on our way to Gettysburg. So we're driving on Highway 70, Interstate 70, and a certain something happened on Interstate 70 that I am very intrigued by. If you guys have watched Hellier, or you've read the Mothman prophecies, or seen the movie, or if you're any fan of kind of high strangeness, you know the story of Woodrow Derenberger and when he met Indrid Cold. So it was on the side of this highway that we're on right now that it happened. Late one night, he was driving his truck, and this flying saucer is in the middle of the road, and he stops. And anyway, there's this article I want to read because I'm realizing that a lot of people, fans of the paranormal, they don't know the history of Woodrow Derenberger and Indrid Cold. And the story is ginormous. The story is huge, and there's so many different aspects to it. But it's all linked, and this is part of the beginning of it when everything started happening. So I wanted to read this, if it's okay, and if you're interested in any event of high strangeness or the collapse of the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, the Mothman, really UFOs, extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, ciphers, anything like that, this will interest you. So for those of you that don't know the story, this is it. So I'm just going to read this. Things always seem mysterious on chilly fall nights in the country. For Woodrow Derenberger, his mysterious encounter with an almost human grinning man on the back roads of West Virginia one November night would affect him and his family for almost a quarter of a century. In 1966, Woodrow Derenberger was a sewing machine salesman living in Mineral Wells, West Virginia, which is just north of where we are. One November night that year, Derenberger said he was returning from a business trip to Marietta, Ohio, when he had to stop to adjust a sewing machine on the back of his truck. Once he got back on the road, he noticed lights ahead of him. Thinking the lights were police officers, he stopped, only to discover that the lights didn't belong to a car, but to what he said was an aircraft that looked like a kerosene lamp chimney. Derenberger said a man stepped out and approached his truck. He looked perfectly natural and normal as any human being, Derenberger told Ronald Maines during an interview on WTAP TV in Parkersburg, West Virginia, the day after the encounter. His face looked like he had a good tan, a deep suntan. He was not too dark, but it was just like he had been out in the sun a lot and had a good tan. His hair was combed straight back, and it was dark brown, and he seemed to have a good thick head of hair. His eyebrows, his face, his features were very normal. I don't believe that he looked any different from any other man that you would meet on the street. But he wasn't normal, Derenberger said. He had a large grin and kept his arms folded with his hands up under his armpits. And he never spoke to Derenberger. His smile never moved. He spoke, Derenberger said, telepathically. He asked me to roll down the window on the right-hand side of my truck, and I done what he asked, Derenberger said during the interview. And this man stood there, and he first asked me what I was called. And I know he meant my name, and I told him my name, and he asked me, "Why are you frightened?" he said. "Don't be frightened. We wish you no harm," he said. "We mean you no harm. We wish you only happiness." And I told him what my name was, and when I told him my name, he said he was called Cold. It was Derenberger's and the world's introduction to the entity known as Indrid Cold. Naturally, Derenberger reported his encounter to the Parkersburg police. By the next day, the media frenzy surrounded the story took off. Derenberger agreed to be interviewed on live television on WTAP, and I'm going to post this interview. I'm going to link it below in the comments. Taking part in the interview were members of the state police, representatives of the Wood County Airport, the Parkersburg Police, and a representative from the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, which is a huge park. Anyways, for 30 minutes, the men peppered Derenberger with questions about the strange encounter. After the interview aired, however, others came forward with claims that they had also seen a figure matching Derenberger's description of Indrid Cold. One man reported that a man matching Indrid Cold's description tried to flag him down, but he was too afraid to stop. Other people claimed to see lights and fluttering vehicles on the road Derenberger said he talked to Cold on. And several witnesses reported that they had seen Derenberger stopped on the road talking to a man on the same road. Yeah. For the next 3 weeks, newspapers in the area ran stories about Derenberger's claims and the claims of others. News coverage eventually died down, but Cold's visitations continued. And if you've read Mothman Prophecies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Derenberger reported he was visited often by the strange grinning man over the course of the next month. Eventually, Derenberger's family said that they had too seen Cold and strange other things. Naturally, the media attention given to the story brought locals to Derenberger's house, hoping to get a glimpse of Cold. The attention, as well as the scorn and ridicule that he was suffering from, led Derenberger to seek medical attention. His physician gave him a clean bill of health and found no evidence of chemical imbalance or disruption. Although he wrote a book about his visits, nothing good came from Derenberger's recounting his encounter. In fact, it didn't just negatively affect him, but it affected his family and friends as well. The family received years of harassing phone calls and blamed lost jobs and friends on Derenberger's tales of Indrid Cold. Derenberger suffered from painful headaches and depression, and eventually his wife divorced him. Derenberger moved away from the area to escape his notoriety. After years of living somewhere else, however, Derenberger moved back to the mineral wells area before his death in 1990 at the age of 74, 23 years after Indrid Cold supposedly pulled him over on the highway. While he never recanted his statement, he never spoke of them again. Since then, Derenberger's account has lingered, propelling Indrid Cold into the realm of rural myths and legends, as well as into tales of creepy and unknown. After Derenberger spoke to John Keel, the author of the Mothman Prophecies, the legend of Indrid Cold was linked to Mothman, even so far as appearing in the 2002 Mothman Prophecies movies. It's difficult, and all over Keel's book. It's difficult to tell what really happened, said Brian Dunning, author of Skeptoid magazine, but it's clear that Derenberger gained nothing from coming forward. Yeah, he only suffered. Who knows what actually happened to Derenberger on that strange night, Dunning said. Derenberger's story did little for him. His obsession with it cost him his job and his wife. According to Keel, who visited him a year later, they found him hiding behind drawn curtains from what he believed were hundreds of UFOs believers and skeptics, saying that Indrid Cold and his friends frequently visited the farm, often arriving by automobile for long, friendly chats. He had almost certainly become delusional. Cold November nights on lonely rural roads will always be a good setting for mysterious encounters, Dunning said. Rural areas are always the best for a creepy tale, he said. It's dark, there are trees and murky creeks, and you are far from the comforting protection of the lights and people. So, there's so much more to this story. And the reports that Derenberger did come back, or that Indrid Cold did come back and talk to Derenberger, it continues, because if you've seen Hellier, you know what I'm talking about, or if you know the history. So Derenberger's daughter actually continued to receive visits from him after Woodrow Derenberger's death. And not only Indrid Cold, but Indrid Cold's sons, and would continually visit her on holidays, for Mother's Day and for Christmas and her birthday and things like that. It's supposedly reported that Indrid Cold was in an accident and received mortal wounding. You know, he died from the accident is what's reported, but there's also reports that Indrid Cold is still alive. So they say Indrid Cold is what they call a ultra-terrestrial. And like Derenberger said, he communicates in here. I'm getting goosebumps. High strangeness is to be able to have your mind open to such things. People have told me today, that just sounds like a bunch of bull. It sounds so hokey. It's hokey, But for those of us that have opened up our minds to the possibilities that all this hokey is actually possible. And for me, being in because we just came from the Mothman Museum in Point Pleasant, and just the number of articles and sightings and stories, and I wish we had a week to stay and talk and look around. Don't, but I wish we did. And just knowing all of that and seeing the articles and being there, and guys, like, you've got to at least admit to yourself that it's possible. So that's all. I just wanted to kind of fill you guys in on a little bit extra. Everybody's heard of the Mothman, but a lot of people only see him as a cryptid, a flying cryptid, and some people know him as an omen to death, or an omen for bad things to happen, such as the Silver Bridge that collapsed. But there's so much more to it. There's so many more layers. There's so many more. I'm gonna link below. Hellier as well. Greg and Dana Newkirk have been in the paranormal community for many, many, many years, and they have, I want to say recently, in the last 8 or 9 years, have taken on basically a new calling of high strangeness. Instead of the paranormal, instead of the haunted objects, what they still do, there's a whole new aspect and part of what they do. But anyways, they made this documentary, Hellier. When they started it, they had no idea what it was going to open up. And it started out with the Hopkinsville Goblins, reports of the Hopkinsville Goblins. Greg had gotten tagged on Reddit. There was a post of somebody. No, wait, that's the thing. He had received an email. That's a whole other story. But he had received an email about these Hopkinsville Goblins, and that's when Hellier, the documentary, started. And from there, it's not even a can of worms. It's a whole universe of new things. So check out the links below. Lots of cool information, lots of evidence, lots of history, lots of stories, firsthand encounters from not only citizens but from law enforcement and the military. And like I said, the Air Force Base, we just got to a convenience store, but the Air Force Base is really close to there. And as far as high strangeness and UFOs and things seen in the sky that people can't explain, a lot of that can be a lot of that is documented, the firsthand experiences. And I apologize, guys. This hair, it keeps distracting me because it's so fuzzy, but this is day 3 hair. So my apologies. Anyhow, check out the links. This is the 3rd time I'm saying it. I'm ending it after this. Check out the links. I'm going to put the interview with Woodrow Derenberger down there. I'm going to link Hellier Season 1, Hellier Season 2, and they actually have Hellier Season 3 coming out this year from what we've heard. So check it out, get some afternoon reading in, and turn your TV on Hellier tonight and give it a watch. You won't regret it, I promise. Open your mind. Just tell yourself that it's possible. Like, try to convince yourself that it's not even convince yourself. Just be open to the thought that all these things are possible. We're right in the middle of it. Like, we might be at a Conoco or whatever this. Oh, it's a Shell. We might be at a Shell in the middle of the highway somewhere in West Virginia. This is where it all happened. Like, this is where it started. These mountains that we've been staring at for the last 2 days, the Appalachians, are crazy. But this is where it happened. This is where it started. And I wish we had more time. I do. I'm so thankful for our journey and for our road trip. But I wish we had more time. Anyhow, we'll also be selling we're posting on our website, www.offonpurpose.com. We're going to have our road trip shirts there, and I might have some fun new merch coming out, okay? So check out our Facebook, and Offbeat Paranormal. And, of course, this is going to be on the our YouTube channel. And we got a lot of adventures coming up. So, thanks, guys, for watching. And I'll see you later.